Regina Metcalf's older sister wagged her finger so close to Regina's nose, she thought she might go cross-eyed. Not a good look for someone who already had to contend with the nickname Four Eyes. "If either of you two brats tell Mum and Dad what I'm about to show you, I'll put bats in your beds. Got that?" 14-year-old Regina nodded, because Justine had a mean redhead streak that she didn't mind unleashing on her younger sisters at her discretion. Next to Regina, 12-year-old Micah nodded mutely, then waited until Justine turned away before giving her the bird. Regina slapped at Micah's hand, although she doubted if her sister knew what the gesture meant. Micah made a face, then followed Justine toward a thicket, twisting her bikini-clad hips in a preteen priss that made Regina roll her eyes. Her dark-haired baby sister was already a head taller, with a lithe figure and knockout looks. Regina pushed her own wet blonde bangs out of her eyes, used her finger to wipe the lenses of her wire-rimmed glasses, then squinted to get her bearings. As near as she could tell, the hill they'd climbed rose above Armadillo Creek, where they'd just taken an afternoon dip in the Dilly swimming hole to escape the sauna that was Monroeville, North Carolina, in mid-July. They'd been walking home, swatting at sweat bees and maneuvering gravel roads on bare feet, when Justine had announced, in that haughty 17-year-old tone she'd mastered, that she had a secret, although she wasn't about to tell them. Predictably, Micah had launched into a whine session that escalated into a full tantrum until Justine had magnanimously agreed to show them, peasants, the secret place she'd stumbled onto. Regina sighed and watched her sisters disappear into the bushes where they tossed their dry clothes on the ground. They wore her out with their constant bickering. Now she wasn't in the mood to do anything except get home to see if Mr. Calvin had delivered his weekly box of books scavenged from flea markets and garage sales. She still needed numbers 10, 21, and 44 of the Nancy Drew Mystery Series to complete her set. And sometimes Mr. Calvin's box held treasures. She simply had to sort through the box before her parents unwittingly shelved something important in the recesses of their antique store, and the volume was lost forever, or, heaven forbid, sold. Justine's head appeared through the brambles, and she beckoned, her face screwed up in annoyance. Regina stifled a groan. Knowing Justine, her secret was probably a rock covered with dirty word graffiti or something equally dull. But, ever the pleaser, Regina jogged to the opening in the bushes, dropped her dry clothes in the hot grass, and joined her sisters in the underbrush, where they lay on their stomachs in what looked like snake paradise. She crawled forward on her elbows, staving off the heebie-jeebies by telling herself that Nancy Drew wouldn't let a little snake bite stand in the way of a mysterious mission. Their intrusion into the knee-high weeds stirred up a swarm of gnats and loosened the scent of moist dirt. She knuckled her nose to ward off a sneeze. "So, what's the big secret?" "Shh." Justine elbowed her so hard her glasses were thrown askew. "Look, you dolt." Regina righted her glasses, then stared down. Immediately, her stomach vaulted. Next to snakes, heights were a runner-up phobia not shared by her sisters, who seemed undaunted by the fact that they were lying on a rocky outcropping about 30 feet off the ground. Below them, in a sparsely wooded area carpeted with flattened grass, sat a yellow Volkswagen Rabbit with the windows rolled down. "It's Pete Shadowin's car," Justine whispered, "and I'll bet that's Toby Evans in there with him, the tramp." Pete Shadowin was a baseball star at their high school. Regina calculated that he would be a junior this fall, 1 year behind Justine. Toby Evans, with that name, had no choice but to be a cheerleader. Toby would be a junior too, and Justine hated her for no good reason. "What are they doing way out here?" Regina whispered. Justine looked at her as if she were a tree. "What do you think they're doing way out here?"
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.